Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Great Malabite, good morning.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Just before we start this review, of course, we'll start with this, the Nigeria's newspaper of record. But just to make the point that Robert Clark, SAN, yes, he dished out the law, no doubt about that. But his allegation that we were journalists, he did not even prove.
Efeni, are you here to review an interview?
No, I'm not reviewing.
Or you are here to review newspaper?
Because it was an allegation made against Arise.
No, don't detain us with that. We've done that. We've passed it.
No, but that was not countered, and that's why I'm countering that.
No, he did.
No,
Rufai
that we
was
were
on the
journalists.
program. Rufai was on the program. Did
that we were
review newspaper?
Yes.
Review newspaper.
We go to the newspaper now. Now, the lead story, Malami, federal government will obey Supreme Court ruling against banning old Naira notes. Move to vacate order. Give reasons why suit should be set aside. CBN attributes scarcity of new banknotes to hoarding. NSA tax lawmakers to find solutions to crisis. Yes, until that interview yesterday, by Arise News channel with Abubakar Malami via phone, there was confusion as to whether the federal government is going to obey that order made by the Supreme Court, the ex parte order given by the Supreme Court, but which, of course, dominated the headlines of some other newspapers because as at that time, there was no word from the federal government. And the Punch newspaper reporting new Naira note, confusion deepens as CBN deadline ends today. In fact, a number of supermarkets were not sure whether they should continue receiving the old notes as at yesterday because there was no word from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. And hence, this report by the Punch newspaper, which captured the situation as at that time. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper also has that story. CBN keeps mum on Supreme Court order, blames new notes scarcity on hoarding. While the Nation newspaper reporting on this story, more banks close branches for lack of cash to pay customers. Yes, but of course, the situation continued yesterday. Scarcity of the new Naira notes, long queues at ATM machines of Nigerians waiting to collect their hard-earned money from the bank. While Business Day reporting this story, soldiers pull rank, shunt queue to cash Naira. Of course, they had to use their positions as soldiers. Somebody was suggesting that if you want this issue to disappear immediately, pay soldiers and pay police and see whether they will not force their way into the bank and collect their money. Yes, soldiers pull on their uniform and went to the banks, shunting, of course, describing themselves as staff, as they used to do in buses, to collect their money. So the situation is still dire. People buy money, of course. An example of that given by Robert Clark, SAN, that he bought 100,000 naira for 125,000 naira. Of course, when you are in dire straits, you need money to solve some problems. You just have to find a way. Over the weekend, somebody bought 50,000 naira, paying 15,000 to buy that 50,000. And of course, he said, I don't have a choice. I have to get some money to do what I have to do. Now, the Guardian newspaper, Buhari prepares for May 29, set up Transition Council, gives 2 slots to success of 2023 elections. Federal government orders closure of universities for 3 weeks. Lecturers will swear to oath of neutrality, says INEC. INEC laments 1,241 pre-election suits, 6 pro bono service from MBA. Yes, it must be taking its toll on INEC resources to defend a number of these cases that it has been dragged into by the political parties. Now, if we look, of course, the Daily Independent newspaper also reporting this story, Buhari prepares to hand over with 22-man transition council. This will be the third time, May 29 will be the third time that a president will be handing over to another. Obasanjo did it in 2003, when he handed over to Yaradua. And of course, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan handed over to President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015. And of course, come May 29, President Muhammadu Buhari will hand over to somebody. One of the 18 political parties will produce the president. And that is what Nigerians will decide on February 25. Who is the next president? Nigerians will decide on May 25. But I must go back to the front page of this day. There's a story there. The last story at the bottom, just before the advert. In major gaffe, IU says PDP has brought us shame and will not continue to retain them in power. Yes, a gaffe. It's not peculiar to one person, except that in this case, it was not the presidential candidate of the PDP that made this gaffe, but the chairman of the PDP. Yes, we've read and talked about gaffe by other politicians, presidential candidates on this program. So if this day has put this on its front page, of course, it's good. It is also highlighted. The foreign newspapers quickly. The Times of London. British missiles may hit Crimea. Kiev prepared to use long-range weapons to target occupied peninsula. Yes, the aftermath of the visit of Zelensky to the president of Ukraine, to the United Kingdom, and of course, considerations of sending long-range, British long-range missiles to Ukraine. The Harpoon anti-ship missiles, which cost 1.2 million pounds each, with a range of 150,000 miles, as well as the Storm Shadows, which cost 2.2 million pounds each, with a range of 350 miles, will be sent to Ukraine to help in the war. But the Daily Telegraph is reporting that Ukraine unlikely to be sent British jets until the war is over. So for Zelensky, you win some and you lose some. He's not going to get jets from Britain. Well, Ruben and Rufai.
That comes as some kind of big relief, because, you know, on this same program we had said the other time that if, you know, the UK will send fighter jets and other countries will send fighter jets to assist Ukraine, that could escalate the war.
Serious escalation.
Because of the counter threats that have been issued by President Putin of Russia. But the explanation that is given in this particular case is that, look, it will be like giving somebody a bicycle and then you change the bicycle to a light-powered, you know, jet, and that it will require training, and that, you know, Ukraine does not have the capacity, you know, to manage, to man those, you know, cutting-edge, you know, technology in those fighter jets. I guess that explanation.
That's a good excuse.
That explanation has just been given as a diplomatic way
Correct.
of saying we can't send our troops into the war. You know, so the excuse is that even if you are going to give Ukraine jets, you have to train personnel. You can't send British people to go and get directly involved in the fight. And I thought, well, it's a big relief. But the other story I wanted to draw your attention to, maybe I should leave that till the last. The other story, of course, is the president signing Executive Order number 14 of 2023 to provide a legal framework for, you know, transition. And then he also setting up a presidential transition committee. At the level of gesture, at the level of signal, that sends a very strong signal to those who have been saying the election should be postponed or there should be interim national government. This is the president signaling that he is determined to go ahead with this election, get it done with, and leave government on May 29. I think that that's an important signal. And all of those who have been second-guessing the government, coming up with all kinds of conspiracy theories, should take their cue from that. I don't know whether the president needs an executive order to set up a transition committee. But in any case, we note the signal. Finally, in the UK, the Anglican Church has now taken a decision, voting, the majority having their way, to give blessings to same-sex unions, which would be a radical departure from the traditional Anglican definition of marriage. But when I saw that story, I said, well, we live in a changing world. After all, there are people who are also pushing for a reinterpretation of the Bible to make the Bible gender neutral, so that you don't.
The Bible has not changed.
No, but there are proposals that instead of referring to God.
No, people referring to the decision of the Anglican Church. The Bible has not changed. Marriage is still between man and woman, according to the Bible. If they are saying there is a same sex in others, I won't even bother. But when a church gets involved, we refer to the Holy Writs, the Bible. That is the ground norm for Christians. Okay. Anything outside that, well, the church is doing something else.
I just wanted to say something, please, if I get the time. And it's just a quick comment on Russia and Ukraine. Please, Ukraine should be wise. Because the West now has been able to push them away and say, we don't want to give you planes, after urging them on into a fight with Russia, that they're seeing the repercussions. I'm not supporting Russia's invasion, which was wrong, which was against every international status quo. But the question remains, when peace was put on the table, hope the West did not disrupt that possibility because they wanted to hit at Russia. Because this same West that is saying that, oh, Zelensky, go away, shush, we're not giving you fighter jets. These were the same people that when it was easy for them in 2011 in Libya, you remember what they did in Gaddafi? NATO brought about a no-fly zone and their planes dominated the skies of Libya.
But that's when talking about Libya.
No, I'm just saying, no, it's hypocrisy, just to call it hypocrisy.
There was also no fly zone in Iraq.
And Iraq, when it was convenient for them.
You're talking about Russia.
But now it's Russia because they know the capacity of Russia, but they are urging the Ukraine on to go and use heads to go and break the coconuts, and now they are saying nothing for you. Well, I think the world is saying.
There's something called the balance of power.
No, it's true.
And strategic interests in international diplomacy. You don't go and jeopardize your own interests because you want to help other people. No country does that. Anyway, thank you very much. If any